Hello, my friend, and welcome back. My name is Hello, my friend, and welcome back. My name is Hannah, and I want to talk about indie makeup. But before I do so, I want to just let you know anything that I'm wearing on my face, I always have linked down below in the description box. Today is a first impressions video, so my face isn't completely done right now, but I'm sure you see it in the thumbnail. If you want to see that look, it's coming up. If you don't want to see that look and you just want to know what I used, it's in the description box. If you want to find my social media, I also have that linked down below. I use a streamers link so you can find everything that I'm on. I know I made it my New Year's goal to be more active on my social media. It's just hard because I'm learning how to do TikToks, and I feel like Instagram is becoming Facebook, and I already don't have a Facebook, but I do like to look at memes, so I don't know. And then Twitter is like a hell space, but I'm pretty active on Twitter. If you're following me, you'll see. Anyway, I want to talk about indie makeup. I just finished filming, I had just finished creating my end of year beauty content videos. You know, like the brands I want to try in the new year, products I've loved, products I hated, what's in my collection, those kind of things. And it made me realize I love indie makeup. A lot of my favorite brands are indie brands. A lot of the makeup that I'm willing to try come from indie brands. That's not to say that I'm a purist or whatever to indie brands. I think just across the board in a lot of things that I like independently owned things a little bit more than I do like corporations, but I'll break that down. I was just encouraged to, I don't know, I've seen these videos in the past where it was called like Indie Week, where a creator would spend a week talking about indie makeup. I did do a few orders, I know, so I have a few new things coming in, but I do have some brands that I have enough product from them to do a full face, and I do want to talk about them. It won't be a complete 7 days, but I'm going to try my best to at least have it be a full 5 days. As of the time of filming this, and I'll put a note about editing, I did order the Pat McGrath Bridgerton eyeshadow palette. I have not gotten any shipping confirmation, just an order confirmation. It did say 5 to 7 business days and maybe a few extra days, you know, due to COVID, but it's well past that time, so I don't know. Maybe when I'm posting this, it'll go live, but like I said, I'll leave a note for editing. If I can get it in this week, I feel like it won't, but if I can and I do, magically it just shows up at my door, I will try to include it because I believe Pat McGrath is an indie brand. Maybe I should look that up, but I'm pretty sure she is. So let's talk about indie brands and kind of what makes a brand an indie brand. An indie brand is short for individually owned. So brands like ColourPop, Melt Cosmetics, Claydos, Sigma, all independently owned. What this means is, obviously, I said this so many times already, independently owned, but there's one person that kind of runs and owns this brand. Perfect example of someone who's been very public about running their companies and things like that are Manny MUA, Jeffree Star. They're very open and honest about this is a company that I run, this is how my products are created. Asterisk, honest. I'll say that loosely with Jeffree Star, but him and his Shane series, or the Shane series he did, where they did that conspiracy palette, it was very this is how a product gets set up and is created and is sold. So I mean, I'm not saying go watch it, but I'm sure someone has a video dissecting it, so you don't have to watch. Anyway, watch Manny MUA's video. Anytime he drops a new product, he talks about it. Very interesting stuff. Now, what makes a brand not indie? I believe Fenty isn't indie, and I believe Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics isn't indie. And what makes them not indie, even though they have a face that runs it, we all know Fenty was created by Rihanna. We all know Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics is a project and creation of Jaclyn Hill. But they have company supporters. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. Like, I love my Fenty products, and Jaclyn has a lot of like holy grail products for a lot of content creators here on YouTube and TikTok and things across the board like that. But they have these companies that back them, and so they use those company labs. Or it's different from something like ColourPop, where they have their own labs and they can create their own product, and they have full say over what happens. So when it comes to a brand like Fenty or Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, Rihanna and Jaclyn may want to create this one specific eyeshadow palette and, you know, whatever, have it be certain names, have it look a certain way, have X amount of shades, blah, blah, blah. It has to get approved by the board or like the other companies involved in this particular brand. Where Jeffree Star can create a orgy palette and doesn't have to answer to anyone. He just creates it. Rihanna and Jaclyn Hill would have to kind of get it signed off, like, oh, this is what we're gonna do, blah, blah, blah. Because they're backed by these companies, you're going to see that, like, they have to see it as something that would sell. A lot of the time, especially with, like, I believe Jaclyn and Fenty and Rihanna, I believe there's a lot of trust between those companies, so they're trusted to create, like, Rihanna has an idea, she wants to make something, I doubt anyone's telling her no. Jaclyn, on the other hand, they might like walk her through some stuff, but I mean, she did create that really cool blush collection just based off of her watching a movie in a weekend, so it makes me believe that there's trust between her and the companies backing her. Another brand that I believe started indie, LS did a video on it, like the history of Urban Decay, which I thought was really, really, I love her videos. I love her videos so much. She's on it. I believe they started as an indie brand and then were bought up. I don't think they're backed by like Estee Lauder or whatever, but like they are definitely owned by a company. And that's why, especially with a brand like Urban Decay, that's why you don't really see as much change in them. They're kind of always releasing the same thing, like the Naked series, because that first Naked palette like was really crazy and really flew off. Companies that are backing Urban Decay, you know, are like, oh, we're gonna continue with that, and they might not want to spend the money to create new formulas. And the way that we'll see an indie brand like Melt come out with different palettes throughout the year, and Melt used to have those stacks, and then they went to palettes, and definitely the formula has changed. And I'm sure there's someone here on YouTube or the internet in general that can give you the full history of Melt Cosmetics. That will come on a different video. But today I wanted to talk about Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I did get the Dollhouse palette, and this is my first palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. They are a newer brand. And I don't know, if you've been watching my channels if you've been watching my channel and my videos for a while, I don't really play with big palettes like this. Like the last time I got a big palette like this was maybe the Melt Cosmetics palette for the holiday season. And even then that was special because it was our holiday release. But this has a few different shades in here, and I think it's interesting because I love how this is organized. I really, really do. So across you have these lighter shimmers, down below you have these like darker shimmers, you have your darker mattes, you have your lighter mattes, and then you have your more like mid-tone. But when you look down at them, it's like greens, purples. I think this is more of like a rose tone, and this is more of like a blue tone. This is a true like purpley kind of tone. And this is just like your brown kind of neutral tone. And she has two other palettes, I believe. I know one is the Surge, and then the other one is like a rainbow. The Surge one I think is like the most interesting because it's a true rainbow palette, but it has your pastels, your neons, your deeps. Love it. But I love how it's organized. I love a color story, but sometimes looking at a palette, if colors are just kind of all over the place, it's almost too chaotic for my brain to look. Maybe I have ADD. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just like organization. I don't know. But sometimes I look at a palette and it's too hard to put colors together. Or in the way that it's organized, I always reach for the same colors because I feel like one shade, I don't know, some shades don't look the same on the eye as they do as the palette. I don't know. I'm going to do a first impression and we're going to try it out. I think I'm going to play in this row today. This more like, I don't know, I think this is more of like a rosy tone because it's more of like a pink purple rather like this is like more of like a true purple. But anyway, I wanted to start this week off with something that was fun and interesting. And I think every video that I do this week, I think I want to try and have like a little bit of a history lesson with it. I don't know, or we'll see. But today's video is just going to be a first impression because this is a fairly new brand and I'm very excited to try it. So that being said, I've already done my base off camera. Well, I did like my bronzer, concealer, foundation, eyebrows. I've already primed my eyes, and depending on how my eye looks, I'll do blush and lips accordingly. But let's zoom in so we can start this look. Okay, we're zoomed in and I'm going to start with the shade Baby Doll. And I'm taking it on a Sigma E38. I like this kind of brush because it's fluffy enough but yet soft enough. So I'm using this lighter shade to kind of just map out my eye shape and kind of what I want to go for. I just want to follow my crease. I have a little bit of like a hooded eye situation, so I have to look straight into my mirror and just kind of map out, because if I go too low, everything gets hidden, but then if I go too high, it goes up to my eyebrow and it makes my eye look smaller. So I'm just using a lighter shade to kind of map out, like I said, my eye socket. And what's nice about using a lighter shade to map it out, especially something like this, it's easier to blend, because what I like to do is go in with a darker shade first and then put my lighter shades on top of it to blend it out. I will say this is a very, very light shade. Like, I'm seeing something, but not too much. But that's probably for the best. Because like I said, for what I'm using this for, it doesn't need to be anything that's too apparent. And this is probably a shade used to soften those darker shades, so I don't have to worry too much about color buildup. And then I'm going to take a Sigma E70. I loved this fluffy angled brush. That it's like the perfect size for my eye shape. So I'm going to take this shade. How dark do I want to go today? I'll take the shade Rogue, and we'll see. We'll see how dark it is. But I just want to press it onto the outside just to kind of map the shape of my eye. Because I have the tendency to go too low and then it makes my eyes look more downturned. And then what's really great about this brush is that it's so easy to just kind of flick in. I might go in with the darker Plume shade just for the drama, but this is a very pretty like plummy kind of purple, or should I say like a mid-tone purple. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go in with this Plume shade. And I'm just gonna flick it onto the inside. What I'm liking so far about this formula is that, because I'm someone who suffers from doing too much, so I have to go, I like something that's buildable. I like to go in with a light hand to kind of work in exactly what I want, because I can be very heavy-handed and it's easier to add more than it is to take away. And so I like that this is very buildable. And it's not too scary when it is something that is buildable like this. Because I don't know, sometimes, especially with darker shades, they could be a bit too pigmented, and then wherever you place them, that's where they are. And it could be a little bit more difficult to work out. So this is very, very nice. And I kind of like to take the shape kind of halfway through my lid right here and kind of flare it out, almost like a cat eye, but just with a little bit of deepness, because you're going to see more on my lid than you are in my crease. So I try not to bring it over too far. And just enough to blend out. There we go. And then, I don't know, Tulle is very light, but the little sister shade is calling to me, so I think that's what I'm going to go into. And I don't know if these are duochromes. I'm going to spray my brush. Are these duochrome? We'll see. We'll see if they're duochrome, because it'll be two tones in the light. And so I'm just going to apply it on my lid. Depending on how sheer the metallic shimmer shade is, sometimes I like to put a shade underneath. But sometimes I don't need it because they're very intense. And this one is very nice. So I don't have a shade on my lid. And I'm just applying this metallic shade. And it is very pretty. And I love a shimmer formula that, like, the more you work it in, the more kind of like wet and watery it looks. It doesn't so much give me like millennial glitter. It's just a nice wet pop of color. And I like that. I am going to go back in with that plume shade and just kind of kiss where that metallic and matte meet, just so it's a bit more seamless. And then I'm going to go in with a flat brush and go into plume, and I'm just going to pop that in the outer corner. I like to give myself anime eyes, so I just pop it in the outer corner, like so. You can take a little bit and kind of line the lower lid or the upper lid. It's just that little bit of detail that like adds to the look. But if you're going to be wearing false lashes, a lot of the time you won't even see it, so you don't have to bother. But I think it looks really pretty. Let's try this Tulle shade in the inner corner. This is more of like a lighter metallic. I am getting my brush wet, and I am just going to pop it into the inner corner as a highlight. This is very pretty. It feels a little hard pressed in the pan compared to the little sister shade, but that could just be because it is a lighter, I don't know, are lighter shades harder pressed into the pan? Because I don't know. I feel like that makes sense in my brain, but what do I know? I don't make makeup. I just use it. And I'm just going to take it up top and around because that's what I like to do. And then I'm going to go back in with that baby doll shade and just kind of buff out the edge. And there we go. I'm going to finish my other eye off camera, and I'll come back, give some of my final thoughts, and wrap up my makeup look. So this is the final look, and I'm super impressed. I'm super happy. But before I get into my final thoughts, I did go in with my MAC Love Me lipstick in Bated Breath, and I did go in with my Melt Raw Honey Duo blush. Again, I have everything linked in the description box down below. So this is the final look, and I did go in with my MAC Bated Breath Love Me lipstick and the Melt Raw Honey Duo. Again, I have everything linked down below in the description box. But let's talk about the palette. Let's talk about the brand. Let's just get into it. I love this look. I think this is so fun. This is so easy to use, and it does take me a little bit longer to film my looks because I have to kind of show you what I'm doing and give you commentary on what I'm doing. Usually when I'm just sitting here doing my own makeup, it goes by a little bit quicker. So that being said, I think this is a very easy palette to dip in and out of. I don't know, I've been wearing eyeshadow to work since the new year started, and this is definitely probably a palette that I would reach for something that can easily go from like day to night kind of thing, something easy to play with. That being said, let's talk about the formula. The formula itself is so wonderful. I expected it to blend like a dream because it is coming from a brand called Blend Bunny Cosmetics. But I don't know, I didn't really go in with too high of expectation, but this really just like, I wasn't expecting this. It is so very easy to use. So very easy. I don't think I'm like a makeup artist in any way. The people that I've seen make content on this palette, I think have wonderful, great, beautiful makeup skills. Not that I don't, but I don't think that I make the kind of makeup that you can wear every day, but I don't know if I would be like, yes, put me on a magazine cover or let me go on like, I don't know, TV or something like that. You know, it's very casual. I say that with this bold eye look, but you know what I mean. So I was a little intimidated. I thought that I might need to have like a higher skill set to use this, and I would even say that if you didn't have any makeup skills, you could still use this palette. You could probably learn how to do your eyeshadow look from this palette. It's very easy to go into, and I mean, I'm comfortable with a lot of the shades in here. Like, I'm comfortable having a green eye, a purple eye, a pink eye. Did I say blue already? Did I just say I'm comfortable having a pink eye? Like, not... Anyway, but you know what I mean. I'm comfortable having color on my face, but some people may not be. And it could be because they're not so confident in their makeup skills. So I like that there's range. But the tones themselves, I think, are very flattering and they're very nice. And I'm just so happy. And I love how the formula was easily like... You could look at it and put a color scheme together or a color story together, and kind of what you see in the pan is exactly what you get on your face, and it's so lovely. I keep catching the like little sister shade that I used on my lid, and I just think it's so pretty. That Tulle shade I used did have a little bit of hard pan. I did fix it with some tape real quick. It could have just been the packaging in the press because none of the other shades in that row had that problem. And like at the top felt a little bit harder, and then when I just took it that little bit off with some, I didn't even have to go crazy. I just put the tape on and the little thing came out. It's I don't know. It could just be a pressing issue. Sometimes that happens. I think it was just kind of a fluke. I don't know. So I would just keep an eye on other reviews for that. Otherwise, that shade looks really pretty. It looks really wet. It's really nice. I think these mattes are a dream. I'm very excited, and I'm very happy for this brand. This was definitely one of those brands that I tried on a whim because I was seeing really great things, and a lot of the looks that were coming out I really enjoyed. And for me, I like to make myself look like an anime character. I like doing cosplay makeup. So for me, I feel more comfortable doing makeup in that way, but not all makeup works in that way. And I'm really happy that I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this palette is versatile in the types of makeup that someone would like to do. So if you like to do the 2016 YouTube look, you can do that. If you like to do the like color, like make my eye pop with this color kind of like look thing, you can do that with this palette. I'm just so happy that the formula was so easy to use, and I'm very, very pleased and happy with this palette. It makes me want to go out and get that Surge palette. I mean, I should probably have a rainbow palette in my collection, but I'm like not in a hurry to get it. But if there's like a big sale, I'll probably go and pick it up because it was really nice and I really, really enjoy it. So I hope to see more from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I wonder if they're gonna release other things. I don't know if they could come out with like a blush in this very like easy to use kind of formula that their eyeshadow is, like, say less. If they can come out with a bronzer, say less. But I'm excited, and this is what I love about indie brands, is that it's someone who has created this line or this thought, this idea of a line, and they pour their heart and soul into it, and they just create products that really work. Not to say that, you know, a brand like Urban Decay doesn't do the same thing, that there isn't someone behind like the Wild West or the Ultraviolet palette that's like this is their passion project. But like I said, it has to get approved by other people, and usually a company, a big corporate company, isn't going to pass something unless it's going to make money, unless it's going to sell, because corporations love capitalism, you know what I mean? And I know that this Blend Bunny Cosmetics, they have bills to pay, they want to make money. It's not a thing about money, you know, they're not giving out free makeup, you know what I mean? But they care about creating quality product, and their customer service is really, really wonderful. And I'm very happy that brands like this are kind of popping off and having a moment. This is such a wonderful, wonderful palette. And like, I know I just did my makeup and I'm really tempted to wash it off because I want to play in this green row. So you let me know in the comments down below. I don't know, maybe I'll do like a 3 looks, 1 palette kind of video, or I couldn't swatch all of these shades on my arm, even if I put it on my 2 arms. There's just no way. I just think it's a really beautiful palette. I'm going to try and play with this one a lot more. This might be the palette that I live in for the month. I do have some other things kind of coming in, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not planning on buying anything in the future, but I'll get to that video when I get there. Otherwise, let me know in the comments down below, how do you feel about Blend Bunny Cosmetics? Do you have any of their other palettes? Should I go and buy the Surge palette? How do you feel about this look? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Oh, before I leave, I will still have a new release video on Fridays. That's not changing. I'm not taking that out for an Indie Week makeup. Maybe I'll have a Saturday video. I don't know. We're really just waiting on that Pat McGrath. Anyway, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.